And so it sat in my for a long time, and then after the last couple of movies that were so big, I wanted to make a very small movie and something that was very unique and very original. Went and did it outside the studio system, and then when I was finished it, I showed it to Universal and sold it to Universal. I don't really ever think of them as twists. I think of them as the characters realizing something. That it's a mystery. I think of these movies as mysteries. What's happening? What's going on?
Yeah.
And the main character is us, the audience members. So the kids are us going, what's happening? What's wrong with my grandparents? And then they start wondering about different things, and the audience is with them trying to figure out what's going on, and they feel very worried for them and scared. Or actually maybe increased because
you can use your
you use your imagination more, and you're not as lazy. You're always trying to figure out an answer with very little resources, right? So you have to do it with dialogue. You have to do it with a look. You have to do it with a wonderful plot moment, a clue that happens. I love restricting the movies, And I thought about making a smaller movie for a long time, and so this is an exciting thing for me. It was like very rejuvenating. I loved it. It was very dangerous, and I enjoyed it. The first movie I made, I was probably 10 or 11, and I made what I thought was a very smart thing. I was making a joke. I made Friday the 13th Part 5, which I thought was hilarious, because who would make 5 sequels of a movie? That's what I thought back then. They made like 8 or 9 of those. At that time, I was like, oh, it's such a funny joke. They make a 5th one, a 5th Friday the 13th. So that movie was like, it was I think it was me walking in the forest, and there was some killer with a knife, and I heard the branches break, and I start running, and that kind of thing, and like trying to get into a house, and so it was basically like a sequence, and I shot it on 8mm film at that time, and you edit, it's like so tiny, and you tape it together, and you watch it. By the way, I don't even know where that is. I gotta go look for that. That's somewhere in my attic.
Yeah. I want to see that.
Yeah, me too, actually. By the way, I should put that on the Blu-ray. That's a great idea.
Yeah, you should.
That's a good idea. I better remember that. I'm going to write that down.
I'm dying to see that.
Yeah, now I got to go find it in my attic. I remember what bag it's in, too. It's in this black bag, so if I can find that.
Oh, yeah?
I don't think of any of my movies as horror movies.
Yeah.
I think all of them as mysteries. Yeah, thrillers.
Yes.
I try to, if there is something very, 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 very scary that happens that makes it go into horror, it happens way, way late in the movie, and in this case too, I kept it as much as I could a thriller, a psychological thriller. My goal was to make an original psychological thriller.